Okay, so this video is about promoting an ebook with a PPC ad. So I'm going to go through all the different types of ebooks as well as different types of PPC ads, your Facebook, LinkedIn, using them on Google Display Network, YouTube, and that has worked for me in the past out of the dozen or so that I've done in the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm going to explain the stuff that has worked and hasn't worked. And if you're thinking about doing it, pretty much avoiding most of the stuff that doesn't work, and so you can actually do something that will work without having to try, a bunch of different stuff like I did pretty much, because this information wasn't out there when I needed it. So what I've done here is I came up with a short list of things, checklist if you will, of things that you have to go through and basically get right in order to make your ebook campaign successful. And so, though the very first thing on my list here to talk about today is in reference to why are you choosing to promote an ebook to begin with. And so there's other similar types of content that you can choose to promote. There's white papers, so you can promote blog posts. Both of those have had success promoting in the past. And then other commercial offers. Generally speaking, if you start, anybody wants to, when they start running PPC ads, they want to run a commercial offer that's going to make a sale right away. If we're in a non-competitive business or we're selling something that has fairly low cost, under $100, low commitment, then promoting the actual item or service directly itself can work. But some of us are also not as lucky. We're selling something more expensive, or we're selling something that's a little bit more obscure or not so easy to quickly explain with a demo video or something like that. And therefore, that's when promoting content with a PPC ad comes into play. A lot of people, because they don't want to do multiple steps in selling, which promoting content with the PPC ad requires, you have to usually follow up your content, whether it's ebook or something else, blog posts that you're promoting with other ads, remarketing ads that then have after you've gained the user's trust to promote in order to make the sale. But for the most part, the other way that you get to or draw the conclusion that you need to run content or an ebook in general with your PPC campaigns versus a regular commercial offer is when the commercial offer in itself doesn't work. It's not getting you people will click on the ad, you're maybe making some sales, but you're not getting enough sales to make the campaign profitable. And a lot of people get confused. They don't really realize that adding more steps to their funnel is better. They think, well, why do I need to have 2 ads when if I can't make money with just the user clicking on one ad? That's a false way of thinking about it. A lot of times, even if you do have a commercial offer, you send them to what I call a pre-lander, a landing page set up just to warm the user up, and then they click through to the final offer. And then that mechanism versus just having a single offer page will work better to condition the user to trust what they're about to see. So they're viewing it with an open mind, if you will, open eye. And so this is similar to that. But so in any case, then I've promoted a lot of stuff like even funeral services or what have you with an ebook. So really anything can be done with this. But anyway, when it comes to making the campaign work, the number one thing that's really going to hold you back is the title or topic of the ebook itself. And with that, even if it isn't for an important topic that there's demand for the information for, which is also important, the topic title is not, or in other words, the headline of what you're going to put on your ad and the headline on your landing page is not compelling, then campaign basically won't work, because the click-through rate that you get on your ad, number of times it's clicked through to your landing page or your site, if it's not very high, your cost per click for that traffic is going to be much higher. It can be, cost per click can go up 5 to 10 times based upon the click-through rate in and itself. If your click-through rate's bad enough, no matter what it is that you're promoting, it's not going to work. And part of getting a high click-through rate comes with a good topic title. And just basically, whereas the demand of the information, if you will be directly correlated to then the topic that you're covering with your ebook. So give you an example from that same funeral industry, we had a ebook that was how to not get ripped off by a funeral home. So, pretty compelling information for somebody if it's targeted correctly to our user audience that is going to be needing that service soon and set of products soon worked. Which goes into my next point, the negative sentiment on your topic title. So having a ebook that said how not to get ripped off versus what you need to know, that works a lot much better. If you think back to like what goes on in the news, negative news always does better, or seems negative news dominates the media, right? Well, that's for a good reason. People listen to and watch negative news. People want to hear positive stuff. And so when it comes though to selling a product or service, it actually is the same way. And so I've done that, figured that out through many tests. And so just to save yourself some time, you may want to skip directly to that, even though positive content, how to lose this amount of weight or how to make this much money, those type of things can also work. And then the other important part, I guess with that I'll just say is, being unique is important. So if you see if 5 other people have done a topic, don't do that. Or if the people have done content and it's horrible, then maybe you can use that same topic. But for the most part, you're going to try to come up with something unique and that's in demand both. Go and do your keyword research, find what's in demand and figure out what's not been done so that that content stands out. But apart from that, we'll move into my next one here, landing pages. So basically, for most people you see that are promoting content in general, like an ebook, with PPC, they're sending them to a landing page that's pretty simple. It just has the ebook, the headline, maybe a few bullet points, that's it. That does work pretty well, but if it doesn't work, or certainly if it is working for you already, you want to test getting a little bit more out of it, you can run a longer version of that landing page, and within that, I would say I've had success in the past showing excerpts of the content, images. If your ebook is image heavy, which it should be, not just words to compel readership, because the amount of readership you get on that is going to determine the sales you get out of it, because you're basically constructing a sales funnel. And just because they looked at it doesn't mean, you got to keep selling all the way through it to get them to the next step. And so even though the ebook is free that you're offering here, that you're going to compel people to read it. And so the idea is when they get to that landing page is, should I read this or not really? Because they're spending their time. Showing excerpts of that content is a great way to convince somebody the rest of the way if they're on the fence to read the content itself. And so, with that, and then another quick thing that you can do to improve your landing page in either case, short or long landing page, whatever format you use, is to have testimonials or other reviews of the content itself on the landing page, which it goes right along with, should I read this? They were compelled, but just because they were compelled by the topic title and they got to the page doesn't mean they'll follow through. And that gives them a little extra boost that you sometimes need to get them over the edge to actually download it and on to the next step in getting the sale from the client. So anyway, beyond that, you got your ad formats. So a lot of people don't, when they think of promoting an ebook, they might run a banner ad, which I have here, but also, of course, you can run text ads on the display network, on Google's display network to promote that ebook that work. And then the other big one is video. So a lot of people, this is not one that you commonly see, but you certainly can use video to promote text content. And it's actually one of the best ways you can do it. A lot of times I've been able to do better with video than running a regular banner ad just because it's so novel. Anything with PPC that's novel, you should keep that in mind. It usually will do better because people ignore advertising, and when they see something novel, it bypasses that mental filter that people have. So then within that, so you can run those video ads though on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or YouTube, sorry, all. So you aren't really limited by using a video ad. Yes, it's a little harder to do, and therefore that's why it becomes more novel. But you should, I would most of the time just stick with a banner ad because it's easy to execute starting out. If you can get close, or if you can get close, first of all, optimize that banner ad campaign until it makes money, and then from there you can easily parlay that into a video and a text ad. leverage what you have. You can then run if you're just starting out on Facebook, for instance, starting out, then you can move it over to your other networks, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, and then so that's how you maximize. The hard part is coming up with the idea for a topic and a title and ebook that works. And then from there, you can run in all these other ad networks. You can run different banners, sizes of banner ads. You can run animated banner ads, so on and so forth. So if you start out with one ad, one channel, you might be able to 10 times your leverage from that one ebook and landing page by running it in one ad copy, running it in all the networks and all the different formats. So just another thing to consider. So, but apart from that, there's lots of, so in terms of the performance of the ad, so how do you know if this is actually going to work without having to like run the campaign, try to put the user through all the different steps that you need in your sales funnel, analyze your books, see if you wasted your money or not, and and have enough data to be able to tell. So the main thing is here, if you run an ebook campaign the right way, the potential to have a cost per lead coming in off of it in terms of cost per download for that ebook basically is going to be somewhere between $3 and $30 for most niches. If it certainly can be more than that, but if you're going to make money, that's the type of range that you're shooting for, and that's possible. Most of the time, you're going to start out at closer to $30 a lead, and it really doesn't matter too much what niche it's in. If it's targeted correctly, that should be the number that you're looking for. But you can then test different audiences and so forth, and the goal would be to eventually get it down to $3 a download. So in some spaces, you really can't do that. Of course, if you're targeting an audience that's normally highly sought after, like CEOs or whatever, the cost of the traffic is going to always be more. So you may not only getting it down to $20, $15 per ebook download. That might be your goal. But it all just comes down to you still have to build a funnel, and then you have to analyze how many of the people that read are contacting you or clicking on your other ads, and then through Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, setting up systems so that you can track that user all the way through, and then maybe $20 per lead will work, and you'll have to figure that out later on. But ahead of time, before you do all that and ran the campaign, to know if you're on track so you don't waste too much money, if you're just trying to put a hard stop on that initially, shoot for $30 per lead. From in that, obviously you can't, for a really cheap product you couldn't do that, but like I said initially, ebooks when you're promoting them are usually for a more expensive item, something that the user is going to spend $500 to $5,000 or more. And so, but within that, if you can get the $30 per download and you are good with the rest of your funnel, following up well, and you're aggressive in that you have salespeople reaching out to the people who download, which I highly recommend you do, then you should be able to make the mathematics behind that work. But in terms of that, though, to get that $3 to $30 per read, the conversion rates should be somewhere between 8% and 40% of the people who get to the page and download. So that's ultimately kind of what you're shooting for to hit those numbers from what I found. And then, what's going to mainly influence once you have your ebook campaign up and running, if you get the $30 to $30 range of cost per read and that conversion rate in 8 to 40% range, is the title and the topic of your content more than anything. You got to find a piece of material that people are going to respond to. First and foremost, that's the biggest thing. If you got that, you got 70% of your work cut out for you. Then from there, it's the audience, of course. If I say, this one idea right here is making orthodontists retire early because they're getting so rich, and I run the audience, run the ads at an audience of just 100% orthodontists, then you're going to have a lot better chance than running it at a pool of people that you're in a medical community, or even like have just some percentage, but instead of all. So really your goal should be to find a tighter and tighter audience as you go through and test things, but hopefully right off the bat. Within that, if you are doing like B2B with it, just as I mentioned it here, you should, something that you can do that a lot of people don't consider at all, sort of a gray hat tactic, if you will, is to collect, if for orthodontists, if I were doing that, I would collect a list of 1,000 orthodontists in my target market or area with the size of practice I was looking for, so on and so forth. You can set whatever parameters you want, find their email addresses, and then uploading that to Facebook and then running my ebook towards them. It's a very efficient way to run an ebook campaign, by the way. So instead of just looking at the native targeting features of what Facebook and Google and LinkedIn can provide, that is certainly a second option for you, and something I do on a lot of our campaigns that we run, because we're not satisfied with the native targeting features and how targeted it can be. If you get it targeted enough and that content reads, it is in demand enough by the person who actually you put it in front of and it sees it, you're going to be able to make this work. Assuming obviously you can sell on the back end with those leads. But that's pretty much the formula that I use to run an ebook campaign, and hopefully that helps you steer your campaign in the right direction. Go ahead and check out my channel for other videos like this. I come out with a new video every day, and can learn to be much better at PPC, try some other things for your business other than just this ebook strategy itself. Thank you.